Hello, I'm Spencer Stang, the CEO of Stang Decision Systems slash HireScore. And today I'd like to talk about HireScore and basically talk a little bit about what we do that is unique and why we do it that way. Um, I'll start with just a brief overview of what we do. What we do is we combine the best that industrial and organizational psychology, science, and decision science has to offer with great technology and great people to help you or help our clients make better hiring decisions. Those better decisions will then help them go on to achieve their objectives and be more likely to be successful as an organization in whatever their mission is. So our purpose is to help them achieve their purpose, so to speak. As we do this, we know that there's a number of things we have to get right, but what I'm going to focus on today is really on kind of what makes us different in terms of our approach to hiring, different from other technologies, other consulting services, other assessment firms. And I'm going to start that at the level of the applicant who is applying for the job. So first of all, how does the applicant learn about the job? Our project managers will help your team get on 1,000 different posting boards and really help you maximize your posting budget. Most people, when they initially go to post, they'll put a posting on Indeed, maybe LinkedIn, a little bit of social media, or a niche job board. We're going to do all that, but we're also going to do 1,000 different posting sites and 20 different social media sites. So we really kind of take a saturation approach, that there's no silver bullet when it comes to where you need to post. You also need to make sure that your posting is written in a way that it's going to be attractive to the correct applicants. And we have large databases of applicants that are pre-tested, kind of ready to go from the start, that we can reach out to and invite before any postings even go live. So that process will typically yield about 2 to 10 times the number of candidates that you would get with a normal posting approach. So if we have a client who's getting 20 applicants, we'll usually get that to at least 40 and sometimes 200 applicants, but many more than they would get with a normal approach to posting. So next, when you think of the applicants going through the process, they're going to experience a process with our approach that's a bit different in the sense that they don't have to have a resume made. They don't have to create an account. When they go in to apply, they're immediately going to be asked questions that are specific to that role in that company, and it's going to be apparent to them that those questions are designed for that role in that company. And we know that applicants like that because we're not asking them if they speak Chinese, if the job doesn't require them to speak Chinese. It's going to be very informative as they go through the process what the actual job is about. So back to the no resumes, we know that for a lot of jobs, many of your best applicants are happily employed elsewhere. They've been employed for years. Their resume isn't up to date. And when they see a posting that might be a little bit interesting to them, they're probably not going to take the time, sometimes up to 6 hours, to go and create a new resume, have friends and family proof it, or redo it, sometimes create multiple versions of the same resume, even cover letters. So we know that the time input there for people who are happily employed, it's simply not worth it. We have lots of applicants who tell us after they've been hired, I wasn't even really looking for a job, but I saw your posting, started answering some questions. Next thing you know, I had applied. It didn't take long. It was very relevant and respectful. So basically, we're going to attract some of the best applicants, and those are applicants who are happily employed elsewhere. We're also, as they go through that process, not going to immediately require them to create an account, or for that matter, ever create an account if they don't want an account. And that's another place where you'll typically lose a lot of applicants, maybe because they're not ready to give you their more personal information in the form of email addresses or phone numbers. They're still on the fence. They're trying to see, is this job real? Is this company real? Are they just fishing? That type of thing. So we try to be as respectful of them as they go through the process as possible. So the next thing is we really have to customize the approach to each job. You're not going to hire a welder the same way you hire an accountant. And that is throughout the process, from where the job gets posted, the types of questions you ask, the types of assessments you give. You really have to design the process to fit the job. And at HireScore, what we've done is we've really developed a process for quickly building out customized processes. So we can often, with a brand new job, brand new company, create a highly customized process and have it live within 24 hours. Where if you were to try to do that from scratch, it would be nearly impossible. It would sometimes take months of work because we're working from templates, and we kind of have a lot of the foundation already built when we start the customization, and we're very good at it. We can build out those customized processes very quickly, and then you can give them a once over and confirm that they're correct before they go live. The next thing we do a bit differently is we don't really use what I think of as a silver bullet approach, which is there's one thing that you're looking for. You're looking for the person with the right credential or the right degree, the right number of years work experience, the right personality. What we're really doing is we're taking a whole person approach. So we're looking at all of those things: their education, work experience, personality, situational judgment, problem solving, job knowledge, how they do in the interview, even background check, physical abilities testing, hands-on welding skills, and what have you. We combine all of these different metrics into a single overall score that we call the baseline score. And that baseline score gives you a sense of that person's probability of success in that exact role and how they compare to the other applicants for that exact role. That baseline score goes from 0 to 100. It's kind of like a high school grading where people at 90 and up, those are like your A candidates. People in the 80s are your B candidates, and so on. So very useful metric. And it doesn't treat all of your predictors as equal. It puts more weight algorithmically on the predictors that are more successful historically. And ultimately, that gives you an overall better accuracy rate, which leads me into my next point of differentiation, which is our algorithmic approach to combining all of those predictors into a single score. That methodology, which is often called an algorithmic approach to decision making, it can be called a mathematical approach or an expert systems approach. There are over 250 studies comparing the algorithmic approach to decision making to the clinical approach. And in the case of hiring, clinical approach would be a group of experts, recruiters, HR people, hiring managers sitting around a conference table arguing about who did better in the interview. And what we know is that on average, the baseline score is going to out-predict that group of experts. Now, your best case scenario, of course, is using the baseline score with that group of experts where you have the advantage of the score plus the expertise with the group. But in those 250 plus studies comparing the algorithmic approach to the clinical approach, the algorithmic approach either ties or beats the experts in every single case. There is no exception. So it's a very important element of the HireScore system is it helps you automatically utilize the science of algorithmic decision making. And that leads us into our next unique attribute, which is the continuous improvement feedback loop. And our philosophy is every time a hire is made, we want to track that hire. We want to decide was that decision correct in the sense of after 1 year on the job, would you hire that person again, knowing everything you know now? Or do you think you made a mistake, or maybe the person doesn't make it a year? I say 1 year, we're often going to track that 1, 3, 5+ years throughout the person's career, or for some seasonal jobs, we may track less time for, say, a 6-month period. But the key is we're always trying to track your predictive accuracy, and then circle back and look at your testing process from an individual assessment perspective and even from an item perspective. Are the questions you're asking in an assessment actually predicting future job performance, or are you just asking extra questions without any real value? In which case, we should swap those questions out for better questions, or even just shorten the assessment process by deleting questions. The point is we want to get better over time, take your process from being a great process to being as good a process as you can possibly have. The final couple of things when you look at the overall success rate of the process will typically be 3 to 6 times more accurate than a old school interview resume approach to hiring. And the way you can think of that is for every person who goes through the HireScore process, gets a job, and then fails, using an resume interview approach, you're going to have 3 to 6 times the number of failures. So 3 to 6 failures for every one you would have with HireScore. It's still not going to be perfect. When it comes to people, prediction is never going to be perfect, but we can help you put the odds as far in your favor as possible. If you'd like to learn more about some of the aspects that make us unique, or if you'd like to take a deeper dive, I could go on with this discussion all day. Look us up at HireScore.com, sign up for a demo, or just reach out to our office directly, and one of our project managers or myself would be happy to help. Thank you.